Welcome back to another Wholesale Tuesday, sourcing and Q&A. If you guys have questions, drop them in the chat here. I'm going to go through some products, hopefully. And I was talking to someone earlier too, is I really hope that you guys are taking advantage of these. Like, contact these companies. Brad and I aren't doing this just because, just for fun, right? Like, you guys can actually reach out to these companies and contact them and try to open accounts. And that's what it's all about, is getting profitable products in the inventory. And this is kind of the first step in all the pillars of brand direct wholesale, which is that sourcing and teaching how to do that effectively and what criteria to look for. But make sure you're reaching out to them,
Yeah, I mean, we find products every week,
Yeah, and someone the other day too was like, yeah, I reached out to one of these companies, didn't get success with it, but like they were very, they went into the tonality of the brand and talking about, what their response type was like. So super important. You don't know if you don't contact them. Like, a brand could look great and then you reach out and you're like, this is a hard no and I'm never going to get anywhere. Or quite the opposite. Like, a brand could look like, oh, I'm never going to get an account with them. You reach out, you hear that wishy-washy or that yes tonality, and then, it's a profitable account right off the rip. So you never know.
Yeah, maybe do we want to touch on for a second, like, kind of the differences between brands and distributors? Because, we talk a lot about brand direct, but that doesn't mean we're, anti-distributor, right? Like, as long as you can prove supply chain, distributors are a great way to go, especially if maybe the brand is rejecting you right away.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and there is a ton of overlap there. Like, as you're doing your brand direct outreach, you're going to get brands that are like, yeah, contact our distributor. You reach out to them, you can get an account with them versus not being able to get one directly. So you can use it as a substitute, as long as, like you said, it's vetted and, you're approved, because we don't want to deal with any account health issues.
Yeah, so I mean, for somebody watching, like maybe some distributor, as I'm pulling up my sourcing here with Keep a Product Finder, maybe some distributor red flags, like what would be some red flags to look for, and maybe some green flags with a distributor.
Yeah, I mean, part of the thing, we always, in brand direct, right, if you're used to doing that, you're always, it seems like, trying to prove yourself to the company versus, you're not really vetting the distributors as much as you should in most cases. Like, vetting distributors is definitely a thing. Vetting brands is a thing, but even more so when it's a distributor. And so if a distributor is trying to, sell you the product like nobody's business, like they're really pushing product with ASINs, things like that, just like a brand, you want to be a little bit mindful of it. Not to say that it's completely illegitimate, but it could be a sign that the brand is, or the distributor is, not someone you want to work with. Same thing, depending on the means of contact. We always talk about, like, on WhatsApp, on Telegram, anything like that, as well as just doing your own research, like Googling, trying to find legitimate location of the distributor, trying to make sure that they're actually a legitimate business, that they have a website. These are all things that, just like your brand would try to vet you, you want to vet the distributor just in the same exact way.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if there was anything that I missed there, but, a big thing too, like, just go by your gut feeling. Like, a lot of the times, like, if you get a feeling that something is off, it probably is. And when you do this hundreds and thousands of times, you have a baseline for things. Like, I used the example the other day. If you watch one football game and the score was like 150 to 120, you would think that was normal, right? Because you have no baseline. But if you are continuously reaching out to brands and distributors, you know what's normal and what's not. And you can pick up on pattern recognition. And if something is off, go with your gut and just move on, because there's always opportunities elsewhere. You don't want to get scammed or anything like that.
Yeah. One of the biggest differences between newer sellers and experienced sellers is that newer sellers have a tendency to jump on the opportunity right away. When something looks too good to be true, chances are it's too good to be true, like you said, and so like with newer sellers, we'll see oftentimes, they get super excited about this opportunity. And we've even seen it with brands, right? How many brands have we seen where it's like, they're looking for a cash grab. They're offering exclusivity when in reality that's artificial exclusivity. Like anytime you see an email going out from a brand like we got one spot left or exclusive opportunity, that's a scam most likely.
Yeah. And I remember like real early on receiving one of those, and I remember calling you about it because I was kind of excited, but I was a little confused. You know what I mean? And you were like, I don't think so. Kind of gave me a little bit more pause. But like the reality is just learning from the mistakes of people who've done this 100,000 times. You know what I mean? Reaching out to brands and picking up on again the patterns, super important. So as you do this, you'll gain more experience. But like you could also ask someone else, like in my case, asking you, but if there's someone else in the industry that or you do have a business partner, like run it by them too, because it's too good to be true. It usually is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, one mistake could cost you thousands.
Yeah.
It's like to have either a business partner or, somebody in the industry, a mentor, whatever it is to just bounce ideas off of. It's so important to just have somebody else to bounce ideas off of.
Yeah, because there's a lot of opportunity cost. It's like, what if you were to make a mistake in the business? Like, the opportunity cost of that mistake could be a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Same thing with like when you're reaching out to the distributor versus the brand. Like I've literally heard you go back and forth from a brand to a distributor for the company, and vice versa. And like we have a totally different approach to when we're speaking directly with the brand and then speaking with the distributor. Like, what does that look like? Why is there a difference there?
Well, when you're talking to a distributor, the distributor generally doesn't have a vested interest in the brand. So the distributor is all about showing yourself as a serious and legitimate entity, presenting yourself professionally, and most importantly, showing that you're actually going to commit to some decent sized volumes. Otherwise, the distributor is probably not interested in working with you. Whereas with the brand, you can write $1 million check to a brand, and that doesn't mean they're going to take you on as an Amazon partner.
Yeah, a lot of the times too, like we'll be more aggressive, I guess is the best word I can use to describe it with a distributor, because they're almost less, well, they're less emotionally connected. And so we can be more aggressive from a business standpoint and a purchase standpoint with a distributor. It's just a bit of a different approach.
Yeah. So I got my Keep a Product Finder up here. And we go all the way to the back of the catalog here, right? And a lot of times we're looking for the intangibles. Like we always say it all the time. It's like our eyes will first go to the image and then kind of hover over the Keep a chart just to get an idea of what's going on. And then I will draw my eyes over to the units bought in the past month. And then I'll also want to look at the ASP, right? The 90-day average sell price, just to kind of see where I stand. So like, for instance, something that's only moving 100 units per month at $22 is really not that, exciting to me. Whereas, something that's 800 units a month at 22 is a little bit better. So, we're looking, again, we always go back to these three criteria. It's like, what is the state of the Amazon presence, the listing, which is the first thing our eyes are going to. What is a general idea of the volume with respect to the ASP, so the total monthly revenue?
Immediately kind of attracted to that just on the basis of the image.
Yeah.
I also saw there was that those drops, those like almost electrolyte flavor drops or something that I saw. I don't know if that was a bigger brand or not. It was called like Mio. Those used to be super popular. I don't know that those are like too much of a thing anymore, but that caught my attention just because of the product nature. Again, kind of an industrial type of product there.
Yeah. That looks like a part mess. It's like you
Yeah,
ever
something like that. You know, the immediate thing that I would kind of want to stay away from it would be on the basis of getting a return. If one of those parts are missing, you're going to get a complaint from the next customer. And so you'd really have to figure it out with your manufacturer as far as replacement parts or something like that. So it's something, I mean, how about you? It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, it would be a tough one. I mean, even if they're replacing it, that would still be like there'd be a lot of labor to sort through every single part on the returns.
Yeah. So these are kind of things that to think about like as you're sourcing in the process. You know, it's like it's not always necessarily just about the product. It's about the product nature. It's about, you know, thinking down the line, what would that look like from a return standpoint?
Yeah. Got a blue horse here.
That's the yeah, they eat the salt, right? Why do they do that? Why do horses do that?
I just noticed this product has terrible reviews, so I'm going to skip over that, especially because it's an ingestible for, uh, an animal. Like, and I mean, I would skip over it just for the Keepa chart itself, but yeah. I feel like we might have looked at this brand. Let's take a peek again.
Well, to answer my own question, after a quick Google search, apparently horses eat salt for like the electrolytes and stuff, which is interesting. Why they require more than like need like liquid IV for horses or something.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll see if we can pop up a couple more products while we're scrolling through here. I think I found a couple already, so I'll keep going. It's like we got a little seasonality.
That's the yeah, that's the same brand. That Killer Instinct was the same one that we found the other week. Must be just the bag. Which again, it's like I was talking about that before, where it's like the nature of the product. If it's a weapon, if it's the crossbow, like some we'd stay away from, but something that we would look at would be like an accessory or something like that, like the bag. You know, that would be probably totally fine as far as terms of service. let's dive into this one. So, what do we got going on there?
Well, first of all, this is probably a Chinese product. It's like a Chinese seller, yeah, China.
Just because I'm curious, can we just click on the listing and look at it real quick?
It's got 3 stars.
All right, so we've got a cat toilet training kit. Like, is there? I mean,
Got terrible ratings. I mean,
so you're telling me that this is for a cat to go onto like a human toilet? Because that's what we need. Oh, there's a video too. Wow.
Interesting.
So when someone says that there's, they look at Amazon and say Amazon's oversaturated, there's no opportunity to make any money. People are selling cat toilet seat converters on Amazon. And you're telling me that there's not a single product on Amazon that you can find. You know what I mean? Like the opportunity is just endless. It doesn't mean it's a good product or a good idea, but it's out there.
Yeah.
I feel like we always find some like stupid, obscure product on these. Like, it's always something that's just so bizarre, you know?
Yeah. Let's see.
100 plus there.
It's an archery. It's a weird Keepa chart.
Yeah, that could be something where it's the price is just shooting up and then just coming back down. Probably a couple sellers on it. Probably not a lot of sellers from what I would think.
Yeah.
Or like one seller selling out, then the other one is getting the product in stock or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you guys have any questions as we're doing this, pop them here in the chat. We'll answer them. I found this product the other week.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 2 items in the store, that and the cat toilet seat. Call it a day.
Yeah. Let's see if we could find anything else.
What's that right there? That looks seasonal. Yeah, and there's certain aspects, right? Like there will be certain categories that will gravitate to more, like we said, like grocery, things like that. So, it's a summation of all of the characteristics of a product listing that we're looking at, not necessarily one, factor over the other. Obviously, the sales volume has to be there, but we might be like a little more lenient if it's in a category that we like, or if we know that the prep is going to be easier. So these are all these intangible things that you're looking at as you're doing the sourcing process to make just a holistic evaluation of the product and the listing as a whole. And we're doing it again. It's very, very like quick process.
All right, why don't we take a look at some of the products here. First thing we got here is roll and check. 300 units bought. You got several sellers on the listing. First thing I'm going to look at is I'm going to look at Keepa chart here. Looks okay. I mean, it's, could be a decent mover. Not anything crazy, but looks okay to me. I would add them to the contact sheet. Right.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that the seller that's in the buy box is so much cheaper than any of the other sellers on the listing. Whenever I see something like that, it's like, where are, what does it say, 33? Yeah, never mind. Some of them, okay, competitive. Never mind. I thought they were much higher.
Yeah.
Merchant fulfilled, though, which is another kind of, this doesn't look like a product that is too large to FBA. It doesn't look like a product that's hazmat. You do have some FBA offers there, but you could effectively rule out any offers that are non-FBA as long as you're at the same price, if you want to stay competitive in your buying decisions.
And so when you're sourcing, anybody watching, like, you don't need to overanalyze the product, 600 different ways. Like, just that was enough right there to be like, all right, 300 units bought, $33 sell price, quick glance at Keepa, how many sellers are on it, boom, done. Add it,
Yep.
Search Google for the brand, find the brand's website, add their contact information, phone number, email, give them a call, right? It's that simple. Accumulate that list of like 50 to 100 leads and then go and do your outreach process. So usually you want to take about no more than 30 seconds max in looking at each lead. And that's even high, I would say.
Yeah, I don't love that one either. Just kind of industry specific. It looks like that's not really sticking out to me. This one I like a little bit better. What are you thinking as far as that pricing goes? It's not my favorite as far as price, but
yeah, price is a little low, but it moves decent. 500 units bought.
this is like a makeup powder. Is that what that is?
It might be an issue with hazmat.
Setting powder. Nah, probably not for if it's just a setting powder. I don't think it would be. I don't think there's any alcohol in that.
Looks like the sales increased recently, so
Yeah.
who knows what they're doing? Maybe some kind of marketing push off Amazon. Sales increased quite substantially.
Yeah, and if they are right, like if you find out that information in the outreach process to say that they're doing a sales push outside of Amazon, that's ammunition that you can carry into the conversation. Like you have more leverage than to say, how do we translate that?
Yeah. I
I
clicked
think
on
this
this.
is a big brand, no?
Yeah, I think I've heard of them before, but I mean,
I think it's a very big brand. And they also have 700 listings, so
yeah. I mean, I would just look on Google and find their website and see if, see kind of what that, like if it's like, look, we've contacted bigger brands before, but we know right away if you're calling them and you have to, talk to a bunch of different people, or if the website looks like it's some conglomerate website that owns multiple different brands, then that probably indicates that it's too big of a brand for you.
yeah.
I think we actually found this product on another live.
Did we? I don't remember it.
Yeah, cosmetic products are good, although the category can be quite competitive. They really don't seem to have much of a presence on Amazon, at least from what I'm seeing, or poor presence for that matter. Decent image, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is also a product like that's a shade, so there's probably a billion variations. You know what I mean? Um, which I don't know. That would be a question. Like that would be something that's important to a lot of makeup companies is to have inclusiveness of every shade that's in there and talking to them about maybe adding a variation. These are all just these little things I'm thinking about like before I reach out. But again, the process happens so fast that as you do this more and more, you just develop a sense for this stuff, things to bring into the conversation while we're looking at the sourcing process.
Yeah. Last product we have up here, sold for $138. 3 sellers on it. It's like the images. I mean, it looks like they tried.
That's what I was going to say too. Yeah.
Like these infographics are really not that good.
This is like trying to put makeup on a pig. Like that's what it's. You know what I mean? It's like the images are not good, and they tried to like really make them look good with info and with like lifestyle, but the images themselves were terrible. Yeah. Also, something is there anything that sticks out to you as far as the title in this? Because I immediately think of something when I look at the title.
Not in particular.
I mean, I'm looking at the word genuine, right? It's like whoever created this listing put that in, and for a reason. So if it was the brand that did that, it could be something where they're dealing maybe with knockoffs or there's a substitute product or something. They felt the need to put that in just because this is a filter. So maybe they're putting it in a different system or something. So again, it could be kind of a value add in my opinion to look at it from that perspective and inquire about that with them when you call them.
Yeah. Yeah, the first image is just blurry, and the second, like this is so busy.
Yeah.
It's not well done at all. So yeah, I mean 200 units bought at $138. That's decent. Looks like they used to have a lot of sellers on there. They dropped off. I am wondering what's going on from 13 to 5 sellers in this short amount of time. Doesn't really look to be supplemented with a huge increase in demand from what I'm seeing. So that's something you might want to be weary of going into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because maybe they've already started a cleanup process or something like that. But again, like these are all unknowns until you call the brand. But
Yeah.
like we're looking at these things from a very like we could say if we wanted to, we could sit here and we could analyze a listing for an hour and we could learn everything about the brand and the brand owner's name and the brand owner's dog's birthday. Like we could figure out all that stuff, but there's no point in doing that because we need to just get on the phone with them. But to what Brad said earlier, there is a point of looking at all of these different components of the product listing that we're going to just mentally put in the back of our mind when we call them. So if you want to write a note, whatever it is, in your spreadsheet or your CRM, but the process should not take very long at all.
Yeah, because you're gonna call them and you're gonna have the listing up, looking at it while you're on the phone with them. You know.
Mm. Yep. Yeah, exactly. And so it just every brand and every product has a different situation, right? But as you do this more and more, you're going to see the same stuff over and over again. Like Brad and I always say, there's really nothing that a brand can say to us that we don't have the answer to. And it's not because we're super smart at this stuff, it's just because we've done it hundreds and thousands of times. And so the more you do this, the more you're going to get familiar with what every brand's problem is. And every brand thinks that they're unique and they think that they have the most important problem in the world. And the reality is, that as you do this more and more, you're going to see every problem over and over again. And so if you learn how to overcome those objections, then you're going to be very successful in brand direct wholesale. But that starts with picking up the phone and actually dialing, which is a lot of times the hardest part for someone to do if they're new to this.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to jump into it, jump into the fire. The more you immerse yourself, and there's no, you got to just go into the resistance, because I see new sellers a lot, they're standing at the edge of the water looking in, and, they never make that jump in. But once you're in, the water's not as cold. It's
Mhm.
tough at first, but here,
Yeah.
once you're in, you're in.
Yeah. I was listening to actually the entirety today of the new Alex Hormozy book, start to finish, while I was doing some stuff. And one of the things that he had said in there was about, one of the worst things that you can do is sell. Basically, it was sales related, but effectively what he was saying was that there's more missed opportunity in selling to someone who would have bought more, right? So if you sell for $100 and they would have bought it for 1,000, there's a lot of missed opportunity in that. And it's the same thing with these brands and calling them, in the sense of like the opportunity cost that you're giving up by choosing to not get on the phone. Like that could be a really big payday for you in your business to help you grow and scale, that you're just missing because you're not making the effort to make that initial touch.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so that said, live every week, guys. Sourcing, we got some good YouTube videos coming out for you in the pipeline. If you're interested in working with us one-on-one privately, shoot us a message, Operation AMZ, on Instagram, Twitter, and we'll see you next week.
All right. See you guys next week.
Peace out.